Good morning, YouTubers and VCers and all that stuff. This is DJ Vinyl Vertigo, aka Scott Elliott from WMNF Tampa 88.5 FM Community Radio. Traffic Jam Thursdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As promised, I was going to do a quick video to show you my haul, which I wasn't going to have a haul, but I was going to be very conservative at the Tampa record show that was happening this past Sunday at the Sons of Italy Hall, Hall. It was started around, I guess it started around 8 o'clock. I got there, carpooled with my friend Jim Stevens into Tampa. Got there around probably like 8:30. Quarter to 9, something like that, and there was already a lot of people there. Bumped into some people from the radio station, bumped into some people from the vinyl community who I didn't know, who knew who I was, from the Rachel's Ghost Show, and also from my channel. Also bumped into people who knew me from the radio station, from listening to Traffic Jam and stuff, so it was a really great day. I promised myself I was going to be very conservative, but as soon as I walked in the door, the first vendor I saw had something right there, right in front of me, staring right at me that I had to have. And I knew I was in trouble after that. There was about maybe 50 vendors, maybe a little bit more. So it's a nice amount of vendors. Have a little sip of coffee. So I tried to keep things in order as to how I got them, because there were things that I got that were like 3 for $10, or there was some stuff that was like buy 3 get 1 free, and they were all $3. So I couldn't figure it out, and there were other things that were like everything is $2 in this bin, that kind of thing. So I got a lot of stuff like that. But then I got a few other things that were more expensive. They actually, I didn't go crazy. I think the most I paid for one record, it was probably $25. Yeah, $25 is the most. And it was a sealed, new, limited edition reissue of something that is very rare, that a lot of people don't know about yet, so, that kind of thing. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But the first thing I saw, because I've been trying to find a lot of, ever since I watched the Gunkles do their video about Talk, I said, I only have the first 2 albums. So I wanted to complete my collection of Talk records, because that's one of my favorite bands. And I just found Laughing Stock. I'm still looking for, I can't think of the name right now. The other one. The other white cover album. I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyway, I was looking for that one that I can't think of, and also Color of Spring. And I finally saw Color of Spring, a sealed copy of Color of Spring. This was about 24. I haven't even opened it yet. I know what it sounds like. I know it's great. I'll be listening to it probably this weekend to see if it sounds really good. It's a reissue. This is probably one of their most popular records, other than It's My Life. And for good reason. It's very accessible. They started to get less accessible later on, the last 2 albums. And then they kind of broke up. Well, Mark Hollis didn't want to do anymore, because he didn't like fame. And he did a solo record, I believe. And I don't have that on vinyl, so I'm looking for Mark Hollis on vinyl. I have it on CD. It's really good too. It's very different from this record. Anyway, so this is the first one I got. So very, 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 very pleased to have walked in and saw that. So I knew when I saw that, it was a sign that I was going to be in trouble. And I said, no, I'll just be cool. I'll be cool. You know, that vendor had a lot of new stuff to seal. They had like um, um, a lot of groups that I really, really like not Afghan Wigs, Arctic Monkeys sealed. They had Kings of Leon. They had a lot of. They had Taylor Swift. They had the new Taylor Swift. They had all that stuff. And I said, I don't really want to look through all this stuff, but I happened to see that, so I was happy to see that. I don't know the order of when I got all this stuff, but I'll just show you some of the jazz stuff I picked up. I've been on a Monty Alexander kick, and this one is called Monty Alexander in Tokyo. It's a Pablo. It's really, I'm sure it's good. It's with Andrew Simpkins on bass, Frank Gatt on drums, and Monty Alexander, of course, on piano. And this was recorded at Polydor KK Studio, Tokyo, in January 22nd, 1979. I'm sure it sounds really good. Pablo usually sounds really, really good stuff. He's a great piano player. Really dig his stuff. Actually does CC Rider on this, Pawnbroker by Quincy Jones, Tricrotism by Oscar Pettiford, just to name a few things in here. Just in Time by Betty Comden. Yeah. No originals on this record. These are all covers. But really good stuff. The cover's not that great, but the record looks really clean. This is kind of a standard. You see this a lot. Deodato got this really, really dirt cheap. So this is Very Together. And this has the famous Peter Gunn, which is sampled a lot in hip-hop. His version of Peter Gunn. And this is a promo copy. So always happy to have a little Deodato around. I always collect Jimmy Smith. I never saw this one before. This is also a promo copy. Jimmy Smith, off the top. This is kind of in the 80s, I think, 1982. So his stuff was getting, I mean, he always kind of picked some cheesy type songs, but he always made them really good. So I never really worry about Jimmy Smith too much. Some people find him to be a little too music-y, but I like it. He does the theme for MASH, so you can imagine, you know. Ain't Misbehaving. Actually, Endless Love, the Diana Ross, Lionel Richie tune. Not my favorite, but I'm sure his version probably goes a little more, he's a little cheeky with it. You know, he probably brings up the tempo on it probably a little bit. He always gets a little funky, so. And it's a promo copy. You can see that right there. Jimmy Smith. And this is with George Benson, Ron Carter, Grady Tate, and Stanley Turrentine. So, yeah. Nice lineup. I've seen this one around. I never got it. This is called Boo Boo by Les McCann Limited. Yeah. I love Les McCann. I just dig him so much. And this has some stuff that he's written, like Les McNasty. He sings a couple tunes on here, The Great City and also Green Green Rocky Road. This could be the start of something big is another song he does, but he doesn't sing on that one. Rollin' Pete. And the title track, Boje Poo Boo. Boje Poo Boo by Les McCann. We just lost him last year, I think, right? Yeah. Les McCann. I already have a copy of this one, but it's a real classic, and I think this is an earlier pressing. The French Frank Sinatra, Charles Aznavour. And this record is called I'll Be There. It's got that great illustration of him on stage. And all songs written by Charles Aznavour, my mother's favorite crooner. And she loved this guy. She loved French stuff anyway. She was into Gigi and all that. My mother loved all the French stuff. My mom was a Francophile. So I got into Charles Aznavour because of her, because she would just play this on Saturdays while she was ironing and folding clothes and doing whatever, singing along. And this is an import. I think it's a French import. Ernie Watts is on this. Nathan East is on this. There's some really good people on this record. So I'm going to look at the other copy that I have and see which one is better, and I'll keep the better one. And I'll sell the one that I'm going to not keep. So that's good. I just woke up, guys. Got lots to do today, so I'm trying to get this done. Next up, one of my favorite Joni Mitchell records, Kissing of Summer Lawns, Blue, and also this one, Don Juan's Reckless Daughter. Shaka Khan's on this record, so of course I'm going to love this, right? And that's Joni Mitchell in disguise. This is a great record. Two record set. I think this was like $3. It's in excellent condition. Has Talked to Me. Jericho is on here. The title track. Off Night Backstreet. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm going to try to take the shrink off, or the plastic of as many as I can. I'm just trying to get through it as quickly as possible. This is another one. I've been picking up Climax Blues Band recently. This album, I don't know it, but it was very popular. This is a promo copy of the Climax Blues Band Plays On. It's early then. And on the back cover, interestingly, it says the Climax Chicago Blues Band. And it's a gatefold. It's kind of got some water wear right here. The record sounds really, I don't know what it sounds like yet, but it's pretty clean. It has some fingerprints on it, but I'm going to clean it up and see. There's no dings or anything like that on it. So let's see what happens. I got it pretty cheap. We'll see how it goes. And I almost didn't want to take this one out because the cover's really kind of rank. But the record's good. My favorite band member from The Who, Pete Townsend, White City. Love this record. Always had it on CD, never had it on vinyl. This has the famous Face to Face on here, Give Blood. Face to Face is one of my favorite tunes by him. White City, a novel, Pete Townsend. This next one's a classic. I got these together, I'm sure. Gang of Four. This is Entertainment. This is a classic record. For those out there that like punk, post-punk, they're kind of post-punk, I think. They're punkish. They're punkish. I guess they're pretty punk, but they're not hardcore. But they're real basic sounding stuff. This has some great songs on it. Ether. Damaged Goods, which was probably one of my favorite club records to dance to in the clubs, in the punk clubs. And also has Anthrax and At Home He's a Tourist. So, yeah, good record. Gang of Four. This is really cheap. Yeah. So I said, yeah, I'll pick that one up. This next record was when I was ready to leave. I saw this, I was passing by, And my friend Jim said, "Hey, you know what I saw over there? I should have picked it up for you, but it's in one of the boxes. The system, they have the system. That guy over there has a system." And I said, "Oh, which one?" He goes, "I don't know which one." I go, "Okay, well, I'll go see if I can find it." I started looking, and it was crowded over there. The guy had a lot of he had a lot of soul and a lot of jazz and stuff. And I'm looking through, and I said, "I'll never find it." And I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with this crowd. I got enough stuff. I don't. And I, mid sentence, I went, "I don't care." And I bumped into this record. And it was one of the ones where it says 3 for 10. So then I had to find two others to justify getting this. Oh my God. I saw this and I went, I didn't even know this existed. DJ Rogers. I don't know if I've ever talked about DJ Rogers before on my channel, but DJ Rogers is absolutely one of my most favorite unsung soul singers. Most people don't know this man. He came from church, obviously, like almost every other great soul singer. He was a reverend. He just died in 2020, I believe. His son is a rapper, DJ Rogers Jr. He's a rapper, but this guy was based out of Los Angeles, I believe, most of his career. And he had some great. I might do a DJ Rogers special video and pull the records that I have of him. I have about 3 or 4 of his albums. Now I have about 4. The message is still the same. This man, when you put on a DJ Rogers record, be prepared to have a tear come out of your eye, because that's how soulful this man is. That's how earnest his soulful soul singing is. You know, when a singer can really bring out emotions in you through a record, he's got juice, or she's got juice, you know, and it doesn't always happen with me. Certain people can do that to me, you know. Aretha Franklin every once in a while could do that to me. Oh, definitely DJ Rogers. I mean, he's just raw and just so good. He says on the back, "If I had to give an example of what my music and songs are trying to say, I would have to say that I write songs that get people from Monday to Tuesday, because I feel that the struggle is not getting from year to year or month to month. The real struggle is often getting from day to day." And he feels obligated to sing about stuff like that. And it's just... oh man. And the song on here is called "She Believes in Me," which I did hear that before, and I didn't realize it was on an album. I thought it was just a single. DJ Rogers. If you ever see this, pick it up. Anything of his. But this one's called "The Message Is Still the Same." So this really kept me in the show. I was like, oh man, now I have to find 2 more, which I did. And it was one that I had been looking for forever. And it was so funny. And I got it for dirt cheap. Quincy Jones. This record is so hard to find in good condition. And this one's in good condition. And I got it for like $3. A little less than $3, I guess. No, $3, yeah. "You Got It Bad, Girl." Quincy Jones. It's kind of a weird... kind of reminds me, this part reminds me of "Off the Wall," which he produced by Michael Jackson. And this has on here "Daydreaming," which is the Aretha Franklin song. "First Time Ever I Saw Your Face," "Superstition." It's got also, I think, the love theme from Getaway. It's got on here "Manteca," which is it's a famous tune by Dizzy Gillespie. Sanford and Sons theme is on here. I mean, it's a funky, funky jazz record. It's phenomenal. So now I finally have it in my collection. I had it in my collection on CD, which was hard to find as well. But now I have this. If you ever see this, snag it, because you won't see it all the time. And I'm telling you, I guarantee you, you will love it. I think this is also a pretty well sampled record in the hip-hop world. So, and then this one I got, because he's a great bass player. I'd never heard this record before. Stanley Clark. Time Exposure. And on this, he's got like Louis Johnson on here with the Johnson brothers, the Brothers Johnson. I mean, James Gilstrap on vocals on some of it. Who else is on here? George Duke is on this. This is Daryl Finesse. So there's some people on here. Jeff Beck's on here. Jeff Beck. Time Exposure. Bass player extraordinaire, Stanley Clark. Can't go wrong with him. I never really buy his records, but I have like School Days and a couple other things, but I usually have him with other people, with Chick Corea or whatever. But so I have this in my collection. It's really nice. Getting there. Now this other seller had a record that I wasn't looking for at the show because I didn't think I'd see it there. Not this past record store day, but this record store day of last year, the Jazz Dispensary compilation was all movie themes, I think. And it was all black exploitation, pretty much black exploitation films. Great stuff. And there was something by Charles Erlin on there and something by somebody else that was from this cartoon, this kind of bawdy cartoon called Fritz the Cat. I remember my brothers went to see it, and I couldn't see it because I was too little. And I think it would go over my head at that time. It was very bawdy, very sexual, kind of wild. And I've never seen it, but the music is amazing. It's got great songs on it. It's called Fritz the Cat. I found it. Not too expensive. It was under $20, so hey, you know. Look at the illustration. The only thing I have to say about this is that it doesn't give you a set list, a playlist, which I think they did so much with the illustration, but there's no playlist, there's nothing, you know. Even inside, there's nothing. I was like, what the hell? But it does give you a list of some of the artists on here. It's original soundtrack. This is, I think it's a reissue. There's Bo Diddley, Charles Erlin, Billie Holiday, Jim Post, Bernard Purdie, Merle Saunders, which is not spelled correctly, Alice Stewart, Cal Jader, and the Watson Sisters. And this is from, it doesn't say the year. That's what I'm saying. It's just badly put together. 1972. Yeah. And this is in great shape. It's an open copy. And I'm glad to have this in my, this is great for parties. This is a great record to put on for parties. It's got funky stuff on it, it's got jazz, it's got all kinds of stuff. Really good. So I'm happy to have that because I only had 2 tracks from this from the Jazz Dispensary. And I said, if ever I see Fritz the Cat, I'd like to pick it up, but it's probably going to be pricey. And I got it. Not too bad. So I'm happy. The same seller had this record, which I've seen this around, but I've never seen it in a decent condition where it was cheap. I've seen it where it was $200 here, $500 there, and it's probably the OGs. This is probably a reissue because it was so cheap, but it's an early reissue. And this are Metro Records. This is Jimmy Smith, the incredible Jimmy Smith live in concert. Yeah. I love me some Jimmy Smith. Give me some D3 organ, and I'm as happy as a clam. Yeah, this guy has some really good stuff. He had really good records. He has good taste. Because the next thing I got from him, and there's another story about this guy. I got, he's from, the dealer was from New Jersey. He's a record store in New Jersey. The next one I got from him was Terry Collier, which is on the Mr. Bongo label. It has an Obi strip in there. I'm not going to take it completely out, but there's an Obi strip. And this is called Peace. Oh no, Speak Your Peace. I think he's a soul singer from New Orleans. And you know who's on this with him? Paul Weller. That was the selling point for me. I mean, I love Terry Collier, but I wasn't going to just jump and just buy, anything. but it had Paul Weller on it, so that was like a plus. It was like a ding, ding, ding. It was like, you must have this. You must have this, Scott. Right? So I got those three. I talked them down for the three of them, and I got a good deal on all three. That was the Jimmy Smiths, the Fritz the Cat, and this record. And I talked them down a little bit. Got a good deal. But he wasn't finished with me yet. As I was leaving, he was talking to these other guys about stuff, and we were talking. I said I was from New York. He says, "Oh, I'm from New Jersey. I have a record store in New Jersey. You might have heard of it. It's called Inner Groove Record." I said, "Yeah, I've heard of that." And he says, "Yeah." He goes, "I also have a record label that I just started, and what I'm doing is I'm licensing soul and jazz records that I really love that people don't know about, that I think people should know about, and I'm doing small runs of stuff." And he goes, right now I'm in the middle of putting together one for Little Janice, this soul singer from back in the day who also played guitar. Very rare. And he goes, "You can't find this stuff." He goes, "There's another guy that was on the Ray Charles label, which is Crossover Records." Ray Charles had a record label back in the day. And he goes, "This guy is a soul singer that Ray Charles discovered and recorded." And he goes, "And there's very few copies of this record around. He didn't do well at all. He just kind of disappeared." He goes, "But I heard this record and I loved it." And he goes, "And you couldn't find this record anywhere for less than like $400, $300, things like that." He goes, "They're out there on Discogs, but he says, he goes, he did his research and he really found the family that took over Crossover Records, and the daughter of the man who I guess bought Crossover from Ray Charles had the rights to everything, had the tapes and everything, and so he kind of finagled a licensing deal through the family." And did a short run of 500 of this artist by the name, I don't know, I've only heard it on YouTube a little bit. Liv Taylor, it's not even open up yet. A funk jazz artist that was discovered by Ray Charles. He's got kind of a high-pitched soulful voice, which I'm not used to, but the music is amazing. It says here, highly regarded lost funk classic from 1974, never reissued again in any format. This is from the master tapes. It's analog. Impossible to find original. Finally, here it is. All the funky glory. Fully licensed from the master tape. Licensed and from the master tape. Limited number 500 worldwide. And I got it's hand number 254. From Inner Groove Records, and I picked this up. And while we were talking about this, another guy who was shopping this said, "I want a copy too." So he only had like 7 copies left, and so I think he sold all of them. Our conversation sparked a sale on this one, so I was really excited to pick this up. I said, "Okay, I'll take one. I'll take a chance. Blind buy." So we'll see how happy I am with that. Last but not least, I bumped into this other person. What was her name? I'll just say her name. It doesn't say her name. Toby. Her name's Toby. And she worked in the music industry. She was from New York City, like me. I saw this woman by herself. She was smiling. She seemed really happy and sweet and all that. She had a bob haircut, which made me think New York right away. A certain kind of bob that looks very New York to me. And I walked over to her table and I saw that she had Patti Smith and she had this and she had that, all this 80s stuff. And I guess in the 80s she was in the music industry. She was an A&R person. And so she got lots of free records and memorabilia, a lot of merchandise, a lot of 80s merchandise from a lot of artists. And so she says, "I have all this stuff that I brought down with me from New York." We were talking, and we were just talking shop because I was in the music industry in New York. And she said, "Yeah, that's why I'm selling this stuff so cheap, because I have so much of it." And she goes, "I have even more stuff. Here's my card. If you follow me, I'll be bringing. I just bring what I can carry, But I got some cheap stuff from her. I got this Squeeze Frank album. Not their best, but still really good. It's Squeeze, and Squeeze always comes through to me musically. So that's the Frank album. Got this for like $5. It's a promo copy. And I also got, which I never had, a sealed copy of All This Useless Beauty, Elvis Costello. It's still in the shrink. It's still sealed. Got this for like about $10 or something like that. You know, this goes for a lot more, even on Amazon. So I said, let me add that to my collection because I have a lot of Elvis Costello. But this is what really got me. This comp promo copy. Everything But the Girl. I'm very big on Tracy Thorn and Ben Watt. I mean, they're both individually great. Their records are great on their own, but when they're together, it's magic. You know how that works with some bands. They're just so good. Tracy Thorn's voice is just amazing. You know, she can sing anything. She's got that beautiful alto voice. Just love her. Yeah. Everything But the Girl. And I believe this is considered a comp, so I got to do my research on that. But I remember buying this not knowing if it was a comp or original. So that was my haul. And then I got one extra when I was coming back to the car. My friend Jim was going to do this other guy's stuff who had his stuff really dirt cheap. Things were like a quarter, things were like, no, well, they were like 50 cents and $1 and whatever. And things were beat up, you know, but the records were good. The covers were kind of, you know, but he got some good stuff because he resells stuff. He cleans things up and resells, and he's got his own little record. He's got a mobile record store, and so he was finding things to add to his, you know, stock and stuff, and he was digging and finding really good gems. But there was one record. I said, he goes, "Come over here." I said, "No, I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna hang out outside. I'm done. I'm done. No more." And I meant that. I said, "I'm not rushing you," because we got there together. And so as I'm walking away, I go, "Oh, another one. Like, I can't believe this is sitting in front of my face." So the guy who was behind the counter, he goes, "Oh, you know, you're not finished shopping." I said, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing it." So my friend looked at it and he went, "You know what?" I said, "No." So he was buying a bunch of stuff, and the guy goes, "Well, and as I was walking away, he says to my friend, "I'll just give that to you." So my friend took it, put it in his stack. So I said, "Oh, well, that's fine. He could have it." So when I was in the car, he pulled it out of his bag. He's like, "Hey, this is yours, man." He goes, "He gave this to me. I'm giving it to you. He goes, "It just sparked you." So, because the cover was bad, but the record's good. For free. JJ Cale, naturally. For free. Isn't that nice? So I want to thank Jim for that. The guy said it's a little bit warped on the edge, but it doesn't affect the music. So I said, you know, I didn't care because I wasn't going to get it anyway. But, you know, now I have it. And I didn't even pay for it. So that's really good. It's a first press. Small warp on the beginning of the beginning of the record. Isn't that cool? So that's some haul for somebody who wanted to be conservative. Anyway, so I'm glad I hope you. I'm glad. I'm assuming. I'm not assuming anything. I hope you enjoyed this little discussion of all the stuff that I got. So I have a lot of stuff to listen to go through, to compare, because there's a couple of things I already have. So that's it. And that's it for a while. I don't think I'll be picking up anything anytime soon unless there's like a new thing. Maybe the new Billie Eilish or something like that. But other than that, not going to go for it. I got the new Dua Lipa record CD. and it's actually good. It's not. It's I don't think it's to me. It's not as catchy as her previous record. What's it called? What's the name of that thing? Radical Optimism. I love how it's, see that? It's a hologram. Radical Optimism. It's actually fun, dance floor kind of stuff. But also I got on CD a new Kamasi Washington double record, and this is called Fearless Movement. It's kind of free jazz. George Clinton's on this. It's good stuff. So I still buy CDs from time to time, just to test things out. And if I really like it, I'll search for the vinyl, that kind of thing. So anyway, take care, guys. Always good to see you. And maybe I'll see you on Rachel's Ghost or something like that. Keep listening to great music. And try to be conservative when you're shopping. That's my only advice to you. Anyway, I won't be shopping for a while, so I know that. So anyway, take care, guys. I'll talk to you later.